Welcome to toy-polloi.
Hello and welcome to another video from toy-polloi, and today is going to be a review of another set of vintage style figures from Stan Solo. I've just received a bumper package of all the new R5 droids that Chris has been working on, and as you can see they've arrived and I've displayed them here and they look amazing. We've got droids from Star Wars, Empire, Return of the Jedi, and also a special one from the Droids cartoon series. So I'm going to split these up into figures from each movie and we'll review them as we go along. So let's start off with Star Wars. Here are the first three figures, and these are all based on characters that you would have seen in Star Wars A New Hope. On the left we have R5-D4, who is the droid you see the Jawas trying to sell Owen Lars at the Lars homestead. In the middle we have R5-A2, which is the droid you see just a little bit in the background at Mos Eisley. And then on the right we have R5-K6, which is a droid that's seen in the Battle of Yavin at the very end of the movie. Now Chris has done a very nice job of taking the R2-D2 body that he'd previously moulded and adding an R5-D4 head to it. So this is an all new bit of casting from him, and you can see that it's looking really very sharp indeed, and the chrome that's used is so lovely and shiny. I don't think I've ever seen an R5-D4 with this amount of chrome on it. It's a really lovely mould. If we look at the bottom of the droid, you'll see that this body is actually from the pop-up lightsaber version of R2-D2, and this is something Chris has been doing on all of his figures. Rather than sort of remoulding things over and over again, he's using existing pieces that he has, and that does work really very well. Let's take a closer look at the three cards, and then I'll go through each figure individually. So the first card is R5-D4, and this is on a Star Wars Kenner sort of backing card. If we turn it over, you can see that this is the 21 back version of the card. Now this figure Chris has produced because it's something special, and it's something that there are some collectors that are sort of dying to get hold of. There is an odd variation in the R5-D4 figure that has a slight different colour scheme on the front of him. You'll see that the sticker here is all sort of red and blue with all sorts of little panelling on it, but there is an extra little red panel on the left hand side. Now most of the figures don't have this. In fact, if I bring in one of my original R5-D4s, you can see here he does not have that panel coloured in red. It's just a plain white on my version there, but this version for some reason collectors going a bit crazy over, so Chris has specially produced this one which has the red bar on the side of it. It's just a sort of nice little oddity there. I'm not quite sure why people go so crazy over these sort of variants, but they do. So if you want to add one of these to your collection in a very sort of cheap way, then this is the way to do it, because the price of original ones is astronomical at the moment. But as you can see, it's a really nice figure on a very convincing card back. The quality of the stock is lovely. I think I've said this in every video that I've done about the Stan Solo cards. They're really nice. They just feel like the original cards. It's actually quite a nice thick stock, and the print quality on it is lovely. So there you go, that's the R5-D4 card. Then we move on to R5-A2. Now, as I said, this is a droid that you see in the background in Mos Eisley, and I think in the special edition version of Star Wars, he's actually been sort of written over by some other CG things that George Lucas decided to put into it. So if you watch these special editions, I don't think you actually see this droid anymore. You've got to go back to the original version to see it. And Chris has taken a nice image from the movie, and I think it works really well actually, because it just shows you enough of the droid for you to know what it is. There's a few stormtroopers and C-3PO in the background. Again, if we turn this over, this is the 21 card back, and I forgot to show it on the last card. You can see it says Stan Solo just in the bottom there, so you can see that it is a Stan Solo version of this figure, but as this figure was never released, that shouldn't really be an issue. Then we have R5-K6. Again, this is a droid that you sort of see in the background of the sort of Battle of Yavin. I think this droid is owned by Garvin Drace. It's one of the sort of characters that you do see in the battle. He is the captain of, or the leader of Red Squadron. So this is a shot that Chris has managed to find of that R5 unit. Really, you just get to see his head, so I imagine that Chris has probably had to make up the rest of the design for this figure, just sort of based on what the other droids look like. But again, very nice looking card, and on the back it is again the 21 card back. The three figures basically use these same parts, but each one has been cast in sort of different colours and has had a different paint scheme applied to it. I think my favourite has to be for the R5-K6 droid, because the new paint scheme on the head is just fantastic. There's so much detail going on there, lots of sort of fine lines and that, and it really does look like the droid as you see it in Star Wars. It's just an amazing bit of sort of paint work going on there. So this has mainly been cast in red plastic. Even the little sort of neck ring is cast in red plastic with bits of silver detailing added just to sort of pick out the nice bits of moulding there, and the sticker has been updated to sort of match the rest of the figure. Just think that looks absolutely fantastic. Then we look at the R5-A2. Again, I do love the colouring of this one. The orange and white really just makes it stand out. The little neck ring on this one has been cast in orange plastic, so it sort of stands out against the white of the body. I think that's just a nice little detail there. Simpler paint scheme on the head, much more like the original sort of R5-D4 paint scheme. And then the sticker again has been updated to match the colouring of that, with a little bit more sort of paint detailing on the legs. Really is a very nice figure. All of these figures as well have a head that turns, and you can hear it does click. If I can put that near the microphone, it does make a clicking noise like the original figures do. I'll turn it the other way, you'll be able to hear that a bit better. So they all make that nice little clicking noise. Then we come on to the R5-D4 with the red bar, as I sort of mentioned earlier. I'm not quite sure why people go so crazy over this version, but they do. So it's sort of a highly sought after figure, and something that I'm never going to be able to put into my collection, just because people are asking absolutely crazy prices for it. And look how shiny the chrome is on that figure. I don't think I've ever seen one that shiny. Even my sort of best quality one that I have in my collection doesn't look quite that shiny, and you can see as a comparison they really are very close to the originals. The paint scheme that Chris has managed to get really does match very nicely. It's a lovely sort of recreation of a vintage style figure. From The Empire Strikes Back we have R5-M2, a droid that you see in the background of the Rebel Echo base. Again using the same mould as the other figures, but with a really sort of lovely striking paint job. He's got a black head with sort of just black detailing on the sticker, and again the really nicely sort of chromed neck ring piece. There's not really a lot more I can say about this figure than I haven't already said before. I just think they look fantastic. It really is a lovely little sort of droid, and just being able to recast these in multiple different colours, you get such variation in them. I just think they look fantastic. Again, the card, Chris has taken an image from Empire Strikes Back where you just about see the droid sort of skipping past the front of the scene, and in the background you've got some rebels working on a X-Wing fighter. It's a really sort of a nice card again, because it just reminds me of what the cards used to look like when I used to go down to Woolworths and pick them up. So it really is a very good sort of recreation of what the cards look like. If we turn this over, you'll see this has a different back. This is the 48 back version of an Empire card, showing all of the figures that you could have got at that time. And again, if we go down to the bottom just above the proof of purchase, it does say Stan Solo. So again, very easy to spot. But this figure, as I say, it was never made by Kenner back in the day, so this is an all new retro style figure. And then from Return of the Jedi we have R5-J2, a droid that you sort of see just about in the background of the second Death Star. I don't think there's any actual sort of shots of him in the movie, but there are certainly some behind the scenes photos of him that you can see where he's standing next to another R2 unit in black that Chris has already made. So do check out some of my other videos if you want to see some of the other droids that he's worked on. But for the card art, Chris has taken one of those sort of background behind the scenes images of this R5 unit. I think that works really very nicely. It's lovely to see this sort of character really sort of large like that. If we turn this card over, you can see that it is on a 79 back version of the Jedi card, and like the other ones, it's really made of very nice cardstock. So it looks like it's a very displayable piece, and certainly something that will look good with all of the rest of the carded figures that I have here. Now let's take a closer look at the figure itself, because again, it just looks fantastic. All in black. The droids do look quite menacing, and this one's had a nice sort of bit of detailing added to the head of it, just some white lines around the sort of rim of the droid's head. I think that looks fantastic. When I put this with the black R2 figure standing behind Darth Vader, it makes for a really sort of impressive looking little scene. So I think that's what I'm going to be doing to display this one in my collection. I thought it would be nice to show you both of the Imperial droids next to each other. So we have the R5 on the left and R2-Q5 on the right, which is the droid that I've previously reviewed. And as you can see, actually this one has the middle leg attachment with it as well. This is something else that you can get on the Stan Solo Etsy page. So if you want to add middle legs to your R5s, go and check those out as well. But you can see together they look quite impressive. And finally, for these R5 droids, we have R5-D4, as you would have seen him in the Star Wars Droids cartoon series. Now this is a figure that Kenner never actually sort of bothered to make, so Chris has taken it upon himself to make a Stan Solo version of R5-D4. So he's taken inspiration from the R2-D2 figure that they released and made a sort of custom sticker to go on the front of it and simplified the paint application, and then made this lovely card. There is also a coin that was never produced by Kenner, and this is again a sort of a custom coin. Apparently it is two-sided, but unfortunately I can't actually see the back of it, so at the moment you'll just have to take my word for that. So on the front you can see there's a nice sort of cartoon version of the R5-D4 figure. On the back of it, it has all of the details of the other droids that you could have bought back in the day, but as you can see there was no R5-D4 on this, so this is a completely sort of new figure, and I think it's really fantastic that Chris is doing this. It's nice to get things that you wish Kenner had made back in the day, and they didn't. So there you go, that is the R5-D4 figure. Let's take a closer look at it so you can see all the detailing. So this is, again, it's the same basic figure, just made out of white plastic, and rather than having the chromed sort of neck ring, it has been made in a sort of grey plastic with a simplified version of the sticker detailing on the front, so it looks much more like the R2-D2 figure that was available from the Droids line. Again, actually Chris has made a recreation of that figure, so do check out all the listings that he has, so you can get both R2-D2 and R5-D4. But I just think that looks really lovely. It's such a nice sort of thing to get a new figure after all of these years. And here's just a quick setup so you can see the other sort of Droids figures that Stan Solo has created, so you can see them all lined up, and how well the R5-D4 card sits with the original card backs from R2-D2 and C3PO, and how nicely the figure sort of sits with them as well. I think the new sort of sticker does actually match the R2-D2 one in sort of the style it's been put together, so those two figures really will sit very nicely on a shelf together. And here we have all 6 figures lined up again. Now all of these figures are available from the Stan Solo Creations Etsy page. I will put a link in the description, and all of them come either loose or carded, so if you want to collect all the carded ones you can grab all of those, or if you just want to get the loose ones then those are also all available like that. And Chris at Stan Solo has many more figures available on his Etsy page, so check out all of the listings. I think I've reviewed pretty much all of them now, so I'll put a link in the description as well to how you can see my previous reviews of all the other figures that Stan Solo has produced. Now I hope this video has been of interest to you. If it has, then make sure to hit the subscribe button, tap the bell to be notified each time I upload a new video, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching toy-polloi. Subscribe for more great videos. You can also follow toy-polloi on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.